ready to get your fix. Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready to get your fix?
With the Wicks here on this wonderful Wednesday, September 22nd, 2021. Now, we have a lot to get to today, and that's all right. We're going to talk about football that happened recently, I guess, or some new breaking news that happened recently involving more injuries and statuses for upcoming games, and then we're going to kind of finish with the upcoming Thursday night football matchup between the Carolina Panthers and the Houston Texans. All right, so with that being said, are you ready to get your fix? Well, let's get started right away with Tua Tagovailoa. All right, you know, this guy has been known for a lot of injuries, okay, throughout his collegiate career at least. You know, he was coming into last year's draft, so last year, not this year's, but last year's draft, so 2 years ago, I'm trying to say. He came in with that hip injury, okay? He had a fractured hip. They had to figure out what to do with that. It was a lot of rehab, a lot of sitting, waiting for it to, you know, completely heal on its own to the best of its ability, and then hopefully, you know, Tua would be ready to go. Well, the Dolphins decided to go take that chance on Tua in that draft and said, you know, this is going to be our next guy. You know, he backed up Ryan Fitzpatrick for a little bit, and then, you know, Fitzpatrick goes out with an injury, I believe, for 1 week or something, and then it's the Tua Tagovailoa show, and they were on a roll right there with Ryan Fitzpatrick, so they have a lot of trust in Tua, all right? He didn't do that great at all by any means last season, so that was kind of worrisome. You know, the whole story going into this year was like, can Tua perform? Can he do a little bit better than what he did last year? I believe he had like 11 touchdowns, 7 picks or something like that. So not the greatest, all right? You're thinking as Dolphins fan, like, God damn it, are we in a bad spot right now? We got the corners, we got, you know, Byron Jones, Xavier Howard, top 2 corners in the NFL. And got a really, really solid defense, okay? That being because of Brian Flores. He's a defensive-minded head coach, and that helps tremendously, just like Bill Belichick with that New England system where, you know, no rookie quarterback's going to go into New England or even play against New England and come away with the win. Zach Wilson had troubles, he had 4 picks. Probably could have been a lot more than that. But, you know, back to Tua, all right? He starts this season not too shabby, all right? They go out week 1 against New England. They get a dub, which, you know, the Dolphins have always had the New England Patriots number at least 1 game a season. They've always somehow figured out a way to pluck just one feather out of that New England Patriots team, and it helps a lot, but did really well. Okay, they won that game. Then they come into week 2. Didn't go so hot. All right, they end up losing the game. So now the Dolphins are now 1-1. They're sitting really rough. They get blown out by the Buffalo Bills, 35-0. Well, during that game, Tua Tagovailoa actually suffered an injury. All right, and at first, you know, all the speculation was, hey, don't worry, it's not that serious. He's going to be fine. He's probably going to be listed as week to week, see how he feels. I think he maybe just got the wind knocked out of him, maybe some bruised ribs here and there. He'll be okay. Just put a flat jacket on him, and he'll be just fine. He'll be ready to roll for week 3 against the Raiders. And that really was not the case. This is a very serious injury. It came out today, this morning, about 11 o'clock, 10:30-ish this morning, that Tua Tagovailoa has a couple broken ribs. Well, he has broken ribs. I don't know how many. They didn't really give me any sort of news or information, that being, you know, the top NFL reporters like Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, Tom Pelissero. They just pretty much said Tua, he has broken ribs, and you got to assume right there it's at least 2. Whether that's on one side, both sides, who knows how many, but it's a serious injury. I don't know how, you know, how the Dolphins let it get out that, hey, this is this is not a serious injury. Like, don't worry about it. He'll be fine. It was just, he just got a little bump, and you just got to ice it, and he'll be good. Like, no, broken ribs is not a fucking little bump, fella. Like, broken ribs. I've never experienced a broken bone in my life. Again, I don't have any wood around here. Don't want to. That shit would probably hurt a lot. Okay, for you, those of you that have broken bones out there, I'm sure it hurt like hell. All right, at first you probably didn't know what you did, and then you looked at it, and then you're like, oh fuck, like I just actually broke that. So Tua's dealing with a big injury, which means, okay, they have to go with the Jacoby Brissett. He didn't do that solid, okay, against the Buffalo Bills. I mean, they still got blown out 35-0, but Jacoby Brissett has been named the starter versus the Raiders as of right now. So Tua, I'd expect him to miss, quite a bit of time, maybe 6 to 8 weeks, somewhere around there. But Jacoby Brissett's getting that start against a really solid Raiders team who are 2-0 at this point, okay? They came away with a win against the Ravens on Monday Night Football. Then last week they had to play, who was it? The Steelers. They came away with a win with that on that one. So this is a solid Raiders team that's looking to come out firing on all cylinders, looking to put a lot of pressure on Tua, especially with Max Crosby. Dude, that man for that Raiders defense is a menace. Okay, it doesn't matter who your defensive backs are. If you can get that much pressure, that much pressure, and do it a lot. Okay, you get so much pressure every single play. That quarterback's gonna get a little frazzled. Gonna get like, what do I do? I gotta get this ball off. Gonna make a lot of risky throws. Probably throw it out of bounds. It's gonna cost first down to go to third down. Stuff like that. It's gonna be a big issue. So that's huge for the Raiders. And if they keep bringing that power like they've known to bring in the past, especially that John Gruden defense, they're going to be solid. Okay, this is going to be a tough game for the Miami Dolphins. I'd expect them to lose this one. But on the other hand, you also got to remember, Will Fuller is now back in the mix for the Miami Dolphins. That's big, okay? He was out the first 2 weeks with... Really, I'm not 100% sure what it was. They were all just saying it was kind of like personal issues is why he was missing. I have no idea what it could have been, what it might be. I'm not going to take any guesses on that. But he was out, but he's back. Okay, he's back in the facility. He's back practicing, which means he's going to play this Sunday. Okay, it's huge. They really, really needed this. They have Devontae Parker, Jalen Waddell on their team, and that was basically it. I mean, you can count their tight end Mike Gesicki, you can count their running back Myles Gaskin, but as receiver core, you need 3 guys. 3 very, very solid guys. Now they do have one, and I think Preston Williams is there. So I mean, they have guys, but not enough guys. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. So with Will Fuller back, that adds a little bit, of an interesting X factor there because we seen what Will Fuller was capable of doing without DeAndre Hopkins last year on the Houston Texans team. So, there's a lot of upside. Now, Jacoby, being that he hasn't played the greatest in the past, he had one really solid year where he's actually in the MVP talk at one point during the season. That was a couple years ago. He can be a starter in this league. He can be very solid. If he gets things rolling really nicely with the Miami Dolphins, who knows? We could possibly see the end of Tua. Because Tua is very, very injury prone. I'm not saying that 100% is going to happen or anything like that, but you got to think, at being part of that organization, you draft this quarterback hoping he wasn't going to, hoping the injuries weren't going to translate to the NFL like they were in college. And as of right now, that's just not the case. He's hurt, broken ribs. He came into the league with a broken hip. He had a lot more injuries during college. And it's very unfortunate for him. But at the same time, hey, it's time to get to see what Jacoby Brissett brings to the table. Now Will Fuller's back in the mix. They still have a solid defense with that defensive-minded head coach in Brian Flores. So they got a tough task against the Raiders. Still all the sports books have the Raiders as 4-point favorites as of right now. So they think it's still going to be a close game, which it might very well be because that Raiders team, that wide receiver core is pretty short-staffed. You got Henry Ruggs, you got Hunter Renfrow, and a couple other. Darren Waller is their main guy. You stop Darren Waller, the Raiders are gonna have one hell of a day. Like it's gonna be tough. So that's what the Dolphins I think really got to focus on is stopping Darren Waller or slowing him down. They're dealing with some running back issues. That Kenyon Drake's in there, and whatnot. So It's going to be a good one. Okay, I think Miami and Raiders, that's a game you probably want to tune into. You're going to see back and forth battles. Now, there's also that chance that the Raiders are going to come out there and just, fucking piss all over the Miami Dolphins like it's nobody's business. But that's a big one. Okay, that is a big one, being 4-point favorites. It could be, I think, if you're going to be betting on that game, probably bet the Raiders. They're probably going to win by 4 plus, bet the over or something like that. I haven't really bet ever before in my life. So we'll see what that entails. But 4-point favorites, got to be something. Raiders are looking good for this game. So let's get to another guy, okay? Justin Fields has been named the Chicago Bears starting quarterback for Week 3. Now, we've talked about this briefly. When is Justin Fields going to start? Okay, I think I said Week 4 was a good option because I do believe the Bears play the Lions next week, or not Week 3, but Week 4 or something like that. So I thought that would be a good starting game for him. Get him out there against a team that's really not that great at this moment. But Justin Fields has been named the starter for Week 3. They're playing against the 1-1 Browns. They're coming off a hard, tough loss against Kansas City Chiefs. Then they beat the shit out of the Houston Texans last weekend, which it could have been a lot closer if Tyrod Taylor. I feel like if he wasn't injured, or if he didn't get injured, I think it'd be a little bit different. But at the same time, this is a good Browns team. They have a really good defensive front, solid defensive backs, solid linebackers that could play a little bit better. And I think that'll come as the season goes on. But Andy Dalton right now, he is dealing with a bone bruise, which is going to keep him week to week as of right now. They're not going to send him to the IR or anything like that. But Matt Nagy has came out. All right, he said, listen, when healthy, Andy Dalton's our starting quarterback. Like, plain and simply, Fields can go in here, get this game done and over with. But if Andy's ready to roll Week 4, Andy's ready to roll Week 4. That's who we're rolling with. Unless, you got to think, okay? You got to think if Justin Fields goes out there and absolutely balls out, like fucking 250 plus yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, about 65% completion percentage, 40, 30 rushing yards, maybe a touchdown there, maybe not, doesn't matter at that point. But you got to think, Bears at that point got to be like, dude, this could be our guy. Like, why not roll with him? I mean, Andy, it's not Andy's fault that he got hurt. It just, happened. Like, you can't be mad at us for doing that. We gave Justin Fields the ball because Andy wasn't ready to roll, and he did what he had to. So it's going to be interesting to see how this really plays out. I doubt that's going to be the case. I mean, they're playing a really good Browns team. Okay, this Browns team is going to be a problem. Okay, I have them winning their division. It's going to be a close one with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're on a roll, but Big Ben's hurt. They have pretty much, T.J. Watt's hurt. I seen a list today when I was watching the Pat McAfee show. I mean, it was like literally the whole fucking team of the Pittsburgh Steelers seemed to be injured. So at this point, hey, it's all the Browns division. And the Bears, have a tough one, okay? They beat they lost to Los Angeles Rams, a very solid Los Angeles Rams team who can, put up points like that. I mean, Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford are on the same page. That's huge. Their running back room is doing all right with Darrell Henderson back there and whatnot. And so then you go look at their Week 2 matchup. They play the Cincinnati Bengals, who beat the fucking Minnesota Vikings in Week 1, and the Bears beat them. So you're not really sure what you're really getting with the Chicago Bears. You're getting a defense that's awesome, but you're getting an offense that, if they catch fire, they can be good. They got to get Allen Robinson in the mix a little bit more. They got to, keep running the ball with David Montgomery. I really got to address this once again. Like, hey, at first, probably the last couple of years I've been doing this now, I've said time and time again, the Bears need running backs, okay? They need somebody else. They don't have a legit running back in that room at all. David Montgomery really can't get the job done. I'm just going to zip my lip, throw the key away, and realize that this man's a fucking dog, okay? David Montgomery, if he gets hurt, Bears are in trouble. Bears are in big trouble. David Montgomery is a legit running back one, and I think we'll continue to do so. Now it's just time to see what Justin Fields can do in that offense. Can he move the ball at a consistent rate? Can he do it, safely without taking as many risks? It's probably going to be a lot of checkdowns, A lot of play action, a lot of read option, I think is going to happen. That's what we've seen with Justin Fields last week coming in the game. He was doing a lot of read options, especially week 1. But on the Browns side of the ball, okay, Odell Beckham, okay, we talked about this with Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry is now out, okay. I can't remember how long off the top of my head, but it's a couple weeks with an MCL sprain or a knee injury, something like that. So the question was, I asked this yesterday, I'm like, what are they going to do with Odell Beckham? Are they going to bring him in for week 3, or are they going to let it, are they going to cool the Jets a little bit, make sure he's 100% so that, he's ready to go, 100% healthy, no chance really of getting hurt or getting injured again. But apparently, Odell was full go at practice today. That's huge. That's big news for the Cleveland Browns. They're losing, so Odell's not playing this for the start of the season, so they got Jarvis Landry, who's their number 1 guy. They lose that guy, okay? They pluck a piece out of there. Fuck, what are we going to do? What are we going to do next? I mean, we got Rashard Higgins, Anthony Schwartz. We got, obviously Austin Hooper at tight end, David Njoku at tight end. We got Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt in the backfield. I think we're going to be fine. But let's go see if Odell's all right. Because Rashard Higgins, Anthony Schwartz, I mean, they're guys. They're not good guys. Like, they're players. That's about it. So you want to see what your superstar has in the tank. So Odell's like, fuck it, let's go. Give me the pads. We're going full go at practice. I'm gonna put them on them. All right, I'm gonna make sure these guys understand. There's levels to this shit. All right, he is going to be, or expect him to be playing against the Chicago Bears this week, which is going to be a good one. Okay, I think the Browns are going to, especially with Andy Dalton not in there. I think this one could be close to start the game, but I think the Browns are going to run away with this. Okay, that defense is solid. I think they're going to make life a living hell for Justin Fields out there, and company. So I think David Montgomery might have a solid enough game, but that defensive front right there, Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney on that line, it's just, I mean, it's tough to see what could happen for the Chicago Bears and if anything good can happen, especially, when you're looking at the Browns team with a good defense, an explosive offense that now has Odell Beckham back. If you add Jarvis Landry in the mix, I think things go even more to the Browns' way, or go in the Browns' way. But I think for right now, this is huge news because the Browns probably need Odell. Not 100% because they are still, obviously winning games. They're 1-1. They should have beat the Chiefs. I don't know how you let that 22-10 lead go away, but it is the Chiefs. They put up points, just like that. So it's really interesting to see how football really goes, throughout, like, week to week. Like, what the hell is happening? What superstars, out? What superstars, or what guy's making a name for himself? Who's doing this? Who's doing that? I mean, all these stories. It's really interesting to see how they all play out week to week and throughout the season. And that's why I like doing this. It's awesome, Get to tell you guys, get to make sure you get your fix, if you will. So let's move over to another injury. This will probably be, I guess, the last injury we're going to really talk about. But the Denver Broncos, okay, they're starting off hot. Hey, 2-0. They are 2-0. Now, you got to understand, okay, they beat the Giants in week 1, 27-13. Then they just beat the Jets, or not, they're not the Jets, the Jaguars, 23-13. And Jags, Giants, everybody else. Like, those are not good teams that the Broncos have played. So it's like kind of like fool's gold. Like, you think you got some gold, and really it's worth a penny. Like, it's not worth $100,000. It's just, here's a penny. There you go. Give me that. That's pretty much what it is at that point. So I think it's going to be really interesting what they got going forward. Now they lose Bradley Chubb. Bradley Chubb had ankle surgery, from that injury he suffered, against the Jaguars. But he had surgery. It was completed. All went well. They thought this is going to be more intense or more invasive, I guess, and stuff, and be longer expected wait time for him to hit the field. But, excuse me, Jesus, he's expected to be back, I guess, in 6 to 8 weeks. So that's huge, especially since that, there was that possible chance of him missing the rest of the season. Now, if you bring him back in the middle of the season or late in the season, if the Broncos are making moves, are making a run, I mean, it's going to be tough, but that makes that makes a lot of sense for the Broncos to make the playoffs then, and all the things will kind of fall in place if that's the case. But it's going to be tough, like I said, okay? I mean, the Broncos probably going to win this week, so with Bradley Chubb out this week, I mean, I think they're fine. Okay, they got the Jets, okay? But here's where it gets sticky. You got the Jets, so you got Giants, Jags, Jets, 3-0. I mean, easy, right? But after that, all the way till their bye week, they got Ravens, Steelers, Raiders, Browns, Washington football team, Cowboys, and then Eagles. And then after that, I believe it's like Chiefs, Chargers. They have those guys twice in that span. And the Raiders one more time. I mean, they got a really, really tough schedule. Okay, a lot of these teams made the playoffs last year. And the Ravens did, Steelers did, Browns did, Washington football team did. So, I mean, 4 out of that 7, game span that I just read, 4 of them made the playoffs last year. These are good teams. They're good enough teams that are going to be tough for for the Broncos to really play. And without Bradley Chubb, you're going to be missing him a lot, but you still got Von Miller, so things are okay. The only, thing I'm really skeptical about is, other than Patrick Surtain, okay, their secondary, I mean, it's non-existent. Like, they got people there, like, they're like, here, there you go, there's your guys, instead of studs, like, plain and simple. Like, that's all they have is Patrick Surtain on their secondary that can actually make plays and go out there and be a dog, and he has made plays already. But, you take away Bradley Chubb, who's capable of, putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback, dropping back into coverage, especially with Von Miller there. It's a big hit for the Denver Broncos, especially going forward. Now they're going to hit 3-0, but then they're probably going to go 7-3, sorry, they'll be 3-7 by their bye week or something like that. So it's gonna be a tough one. I think they can handle it and deal with it for the most part. But like I said, it's really, really gonna be a tough one to overcome. But they have a chance, and I think they'll be just fine, especially with Teddy B back there. I mean, that man's a dog. Teddy Two Gloves, right? Now I think it's time to shift gears. I'm off that fucking injury, get all these injuries out of my way. Okay, that's enough of that bullshit. Let's talk Lions. Okay, this story just broke recently, actually before the show. The Lions are exploring trade options involving linebacker Jamie Collins. Now, this is huge, okay? Today he was held out of practice. That is due to the fact that the Lions are receiving calls around Jamie Collins, trying to figure out, hey, can we get this guy out of here, and what's really going to happen. But the reason behind all this is really that rookie linebacker, okay, Derek Barnes, has massively impressed the coaching staff and the defensive coordinator and whatnot, and, okay, is set for a lot of action this upcoming week. And that's due to the fact that Jamie Collins the Lions are exploring trade options for Jamie Collins. They're going younger. Okay, the Lions linebacker crew is quite young. Jamie Collins is the oldest guy on there. They're going to be starting a rookie linebacker up there. They want to get, maybe a different piece. Bring in a corner, because I went and looked at their roster. They really don't have that great of defensive backs. They just lost Jeff Okudah to an Achilles injury, so that was a huge one. They're just missing. They're missing one solid piece at defensive back. They could probably get one player, not a great player, and maybe a draft pick. Or they'll probably just get a draft pick and say, fuck it, just put the rookie in there, get Jamie out of there. They still, I think, are going to owe him like $30-some million or whatnot. But they could figure out a way to bring that down. But I guess the main reason he is that makes him a really good tradable option is because he did reduce his salary via reconstruction in March. Okay, so he took less pay and did whatnot. So that made him a really good trade asset for the Detroit Lions to go out there and shop him around really and see what they can get. I mean, they're off to a 0-2 start. They've lost to the 49ers, 41-33, and then they lost to the Green Bay Packers in a big one. Or 35-17, I believe that one was. I can't really remember off the top of my head, but they lost. So they got to do whatever they possibly can. Okay, this Lions team has been cursed with that Calvin Johnson curse, since he left, and the Lions really did him bad, and they just really haven't been able to figure it out. Wide receivers are looking a little rough on the edges. Quintez Cephas is their guy. That's their main guy that they're going to go to the majority of the time, besides or other than T.J. Hawkinson, who's actually their go-to receiver, the guy that's going to get the ball 70% of the time and whatnot. But DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams is in the backfield. I think they're going to have to utilize Jamal Williams a little bit more. I'm surprised they didn't do that on Monday night against Green Bay Packers, with it being his own old team, and especially with his play style. He's a receiving / running back, and he can do all things. But the Lions are in trouble a little bit, I feel. Okay? They got the Ravens this week. They got the Bears after that. Then they got the Wicks. It's a tough couple game span. The Wicks will probably fucking wide right again and blow it, but I doubt it. But the Lions have a tough schedule coming up. Hopefully the rookie linebacker's capable of performing, making a good enough plays, and from what I've seen on social media, everybody loves him. So that's good to see, especially being a rookie. But this is big news. I wonder what the Lions are going to get. We'll kind of follow this story, hover over it a little bit, see what's happening, see what they get for this trade. It's more than likely going to happen here within the next couple days, maybe really soon, maybe tonight. I doubt it, but we'll see where that all goes, I suppose. But they have a really tough one against the Ravens. I think they're going to lose. Ravens, Lamar Jackson's just on a roll. But with that being said, let's get to this Thursday night football matchup between the Carolina Panthers and the Houston Texans. Now, this one should be a good one for the most part. Okay, Carolina has looked exceptionally well, I'd say. I think they're 2-0 now. I want to say. Let me go check real quick because I have them pulled up here. But they, let's see. Yeah, 2-0. They're 2-0 to start the season. They haven't really played that solid of teams. They played the Jets week 1. I guess you could say the Saints are a solid team. They beat them somehow 26-7. I don't understand how that happened, especially when the Saints kicked the shit out of Green Bay the week before that. But this is going to be a good game. I think Carolina's going to come out this victorious, go 3-0. Okay, it's them and the Buccaneers. Now the Bucs got to prove that they can win. But if the Bucs lose, Carolina's on top of that division. That would be a sight, folks. Okay, if Carolina's good again, that'd be crazy. Especially with Sam Darnold in the helm. Okay, we've seen him with the New York Jets. Thought he was the reason they were garbage. No, really, it was just Adam fucking Gase who was garbage. Nobody else, I think, because all these guys are players. He just didn't know how to coach, at all. Okay, we seen it when he was with the Miami Dolphins back with Ryan Tannehill. Fucked it up a lot. Wentz got the head coaching job, which I don't fucking know how the hell he got a head coaching job. Just plain and simple, looking at what the hell he's done in the past. Blew that one, especially with the Jets organization that's just always been garbage. I think Robert Saleh is gonna over there to change that. But back to this game, I think for the most part Carolina's gonna win. Okay, because the Texans with Tyrod Taylor are looking like a good team, but they are dealing with massive injuries. Okay, I'm going to read them. Deshaun Watson, obviously, that's not injury related. Camus Grieger-Hill, Justin Reed, Danny Amendola, Terrence Mitchell, Tyrod Taylor, Nico Collins, Kevin Pierre-Louis, Vincent Taylor, Kyami Fairborn, A.J. Moore Jr. I mean, these guys are riddled up and down that roster with injuries, especially with your kicker getting injured. That's a huge one because that's 3 points or 1 point or the extra point every possession possibly. It's going to be a rough season, okay, for the Houston Texans. At first, I'm thinking, this team has, might be something. They might possibly be a decent team, especially with Tyrod and what he was capable of doing and what he was actually doing. But after all these injuries, especially with Tyrod being out, I think he's going to be out at least, I think he came out 4 to 5 weeks officially. So that's a big hit. But Thursday Night Football, I'd expect Carolina to win. It's not going to be the greatest game that we're going to get to see this whole season, but it's going to be a fun one regardless because it is fucking football. And all those fantasy teams around, or all your fantasy teams that you guys have and whatnot, that's very serious. You got to figure it out. There's some money on the line. There's some, losing, how do you want to say it? Losing traditions that you have to do, like go outside in the freezing cold in a Speedo and just run around or something, or hold a sign saying I suck at fantasy football or something stupid like that. You get my drift. So it's going to be a good one regardless, if you're a fantasy owner or if you're just a football fan in general. So be excited for that one. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think we're going to do the show tomorrow. Just being because, I mean, I just gave you the Thursday night football preview and what I think is actually going to happen and how it's going to look going forward. Christian McCaffrey's going to run up and down that field. So we will not be here tomorrow, but we're going to be back here Friday for some fantasy football Friday. You know what I'm saying? So that is going to be fun. Hopefully we have more teams. Doubt it. But, hey, that's all right. We'll have, full Chubb and the fantasy football team established in 2021 with Y4. But that is all I got for you guys today. Thank you for watching the show and continue to tune in. Go on YouTube, subscribe there, or go follow the page on Facebook. We're doing this, consistently every day. We're diving in basically to the news and everything kind of surrounding the world of football. So with that being said, go enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you guys here Friday at 6 p.m. for some fantasy football talk with the boys. And yeah, have a good one. And you just got your fix with the Wicks. Thank you guys. Have a good one.